Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. There was a time, and it wasn't that long ago, when human sacrifice was pretty common. Killing people was considered to be a good way to please God. Because God used to get pissed a lot. He had a very bad temper. And so you just had to give him something. Sometimes it was some fruit or a goat. Sometimes it was your Aunt Gladys. Sometimes they would go over and grab somebody from another tribe to sacrifice. But just as often, it would be one of their own. Sometimes anyone could be sacrificed. Sometimes it had to be a virgin. That's a real questionable motivation for chastity, isn't it? That you might wind up getting a knife plunged through your heart. And sometimes they did have to be dragged kicking and screaming to the altar, but sometimes they went willingly. Often being sacrificed to the gods was considered a great honor. Though I wonder how many people who were actually being sacrificed felt honored about that. So this was a fairly common thing. So you'll remember that when God told Abraham to sacrifice his son, he didn't seem to think it was odd or unusual or even unreasonable. He grabbed a knife, got his kid, and said, "Hey, we're going for a walk." Nowadays, both Christians and Jews say this is a story about faith. It's about trust in God. But since God wasn't really asking for anything outrageous or unusual, it really isn't. It's just a simple illustration of the primitive roots from which our religions spring. This violence and savagery is where it all came from. The story of Christianity is the story of the ultimate sacrifice. God was both the sacrifice and the recipient. And they didn't just kill him. First he was tortured, then he was killed in an extremely slow and painful manner. The only thing they left out was fucking him up the ass. And yet somehow, some way, all of this violence, torture, and murder was very pleasing to God. It redeemed us. Now, if you give any rational thought to it, it's a horrible story about a truly horrible, twisted being. This God is very primitive. It only could be a God that was conceived of by primitive minds. So why has all this lasted so long? Why do the majority of people in the world believe in one religion or another with equally ridiculous premises? Those who adhere to and advocate for religion will tell you it's because there are great truths contained in it. Yep, they're all written down in those holy books, and they are a gift from God. Well, I hate to say it, but it doesn't take a God to figure out the good shit, you know. Thou shalt not kill. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Doesn't take a God to figure that shit out. It's pretty much good sense. And there's a ton of shit in there that is completely unbecoming a God. No, the reason why religion continues to exist is not because it is so wonderful. It is because we are not. Despite our technological advances and our increasing sophistication, we're still just out of the caves. The mind that would think that those stories in our holy books are so wonderful is not much different than the mind of the savages who would disembowel you on an altar or throw a virgin into a volcano. Thanks for listening.